It's such a family feel. They really make you feel a part of that.
The Policells are a wonderful family to work for.
Tom and I have built up a very good rapport over the last few years.
It's been a great place to go if you want to have an afternoon or an evening.
People always ask us, how did we get started as a winery here in Jefferson County? And I think really the answer, it goes way back to when my father was a young man in Italy. He grew up on a farm, and it wasn't a winery per se, at least not in the modern sense. But it was a farm where they grew crops and they grew their own grapes. And to preserve those grapes, they would make it into wine, and the wine they would use themselves, or they would trade it, to like the general store for other goods. He was kind of already steeped in that tradition of living on the land and making your own goods. And ever since I came along, my whole childhood, he always had this dream of getting back to that place. This place it didn't look like this. I mean, it was an overgrown, pretty much abandoned farm of 40 acres.
He did not have any equipment except for shovels. So everything was done by hand. Every plant that he put down he had to dig a deep hole.
There's a lot of stories about our wines, but one of the first things I remember was Dad telling me that we weren't going to be like every other Missouri winery. We were going to be an Italian winery, and that meant we weren't going to have any sweet wines. We were going to make real wine. And the funny thing is, we started out that way with 4 wines. They were all dry, and it lasted for all of 1 year before literally every customer that came out said, "You got any sweet wine? You got any sweet wine?" So he grudgingly started to make some sweet wines.
I've been able to grow with the winery and see the winery grow. I think what people love the most about it is that it started as something very small, and every year is a bit of a project. So everyone has been able to grow with it. They didn't show up and everything was completely different one time, and everyone's just grown with it as a family.
I've worked here at the winery for going on 11 years. Kind of fell into this job, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I started out bartending weddings on the weekends, and now this is my full-time job. We love to have family and friends come out to the winery just to enjoy the atmosphere and the good music and the good food. So I really love working here, and they're a great family to work for.
And I've been going out there since it was first opened. It was Tom's dad he was a very nice person. He'd come out, talk to you, even offer me grapevines to help start if I want to start my own vineyard. And his mom made the most wonderful 7-course meals for evening fun, and did several of those with my family and took them out there, so it was always enjoyable. And after Tom got involved, he has expanded the winery and added new buildings and new facilities and enlarged it, and it's been a great place to go.
I always remember the first time that I met Tom. My business partner Mark, myself, and Tom walked through the vineyards over at Villa Antonio, and Tom's passion came out, his understanding of what we were trying to do versus what he had already done really did resonate with us. Mark had worked with Tom previously on a consulting side of it, and just that camaraderie that day. It was a beautiful day, a cool day, and it's one of those moments that you just kind of always remember of where and when you met somebody.
So pretty much any customer that comes out is going to find some wine that they'll enjoy. We've won various awards from the state and Texas and wherever else. Although I'll be honest, I don't really participate in a lot of competitions anymore, but I pretty much promise anyone that comes out, they're going to find a wine that they enjoy. We have always had a philosophy, I think, of taking care of our guests and taking care of our community. So we want to make sure when someone comes out here that they have a table to sit at, a chair to sit on, that they get good quality, food and wine and service. We joined JCGA, 5 or 6 years ago, as an opportunity to kind of give back to the community. So anyone that needs a space to meet or gather, we're going to work with them, and we're going to help them in any way we can, because that all leads to the betterment of the county, and it leads to the betterment of our community. A couple years ago, we started gathering the licenses we needed to open our own microbrew, and really we just relaunched it a couple weeks ago, around the 1st of September. So now I literally have 6 of our beers on tap.
I see the winery going big places. We have such a great core team that are interested in growing and expanding on what we have. I feel we have such a unique aspect, the venue itself, what we can offer from food and music and drink and all of that. So I think having this great core team that we have right now that has a lot of big ideas, anything from movie nights and trivia nights to expanding on the wedding, the corporate events, not just your standard things that you think of, but just some fun additions. I'm excited to see a big movie screen down by the lake, and families enjoying kind of a picnic laid out there. So I'm really excited to see where we'll be in a year, 2 years, and even beyond.
I want to just congratulate Villa Antonia because they are very deserving. They're very involved with the Growth Association. They're always there when we need them. They've been gracious to host many of our events, and it's just wonderful to have people like Tom, because he was an engineer, and so we can talk engineering when I go out there and what's going on in the area. So very pleasurable people and an enjoyable place to visit.
So I would just like to congratulate Tom, Villa Antonio, and all their employees for the fine job that they're doing, and I wish them the greatest success in the future.